Good evening. Bullying at school. It's happening more often than you might think. That's according to a new survey, and people in this province say it's enough. The CBC's Danny Mario reports. In other news tonight, robocalls from the Conservatives led to some questions in the House of Commons today. Interim Liberal leader Bob Rae had some questions for the Prime Minister. Now, the Tories admit they placed robocalls critical of plans to redraw electoral boundaries in Saskatchewan. The Prime Minister says his government would never overrule the recommendations of the Boundary Commission. As for the robocalls, Saskatchewan Liberal MP Ralph Goodale says he's submitted a complaint with the CRTC, and the chair of Saskatchewan's Federal Boundaries Commission says the debate is not influencing the commission. All right, big game for the Blades tonight as the PA Raiders roll into Saskatoon. Now, the home team did not play nice. It's 4-0 when we pick up the action in the second. The Blades send it around the point and then back into the circle where Stransky rifles it home. That's right, and some nights, well, everything goes your way, and for the Blades, it was one of those nights. Colin Valcourt tries to jam this one in. It flips up, and Valcourt zips around the back behind the net to tap it home. The Blades win big, 7-1 over the Raiders, and they're hot right now with 6 wins in a row.
Well, now let's take a wider survey of some election results. 3 key locations we're looking at tonight. In Prince Albert, Greg Dion has won the mayor's chair with 4,100 votes. Now to Moose Jaw, where former MLA Deb Higgins is now the mayor. Higgins with 5,200 votes. And for some insight into some of those key races, we go now live to our very own Danny Mario for some more details. Danny, what can you tell us about these battlegrounds?
The CBC's Sandra Batson is following this story. She's with us live from Regina. Sandra.
Hi, Costa. Yes, Saskatchewan's chief medical health officer tells us the 2 people who tested positive for swine flu come from different parts of the province, but they both recently returned from trips to Mexico. Health officials say a teenage girl from Saskatoon and a woman in her mid-20s from Regina both tested positive for mild cases of swine flu.
The CBC's Sandra Batson joins us now live to tell us what this broken promise means to us. Sandra.
Costa, when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions, Saskatchewan is one of the worst polluters in the country. Now, that's due in large part to the way we generate electricity. Now, the Wall government during the election campaign promised to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 32% by the year 2020. But now that plan has changed. All right, thanks, Debbie. And now to Glenn Reed to tell us what's coming up in sports. Glenn?
Okay, just 3 weeks after firing their old coach, Pats have a new one today. Actually, he's old too, because in the end it just turned out he took a 1 year's leave of absence. We'll talk about the new coach later in sports, as well as Rough Riders signing a big-name offensive lineman today, but he retired right away. We'll explain that later in sports.
All right, we look forward to hearing more about that. Thanks, Glenn. And now here's a look at what else we have for you tonight.
This is a CBC News special report. The Queen in Canada.
And the CBC Sandra Batson joins me now. It's going to be a very private event as well, because we will see the Queen after she arrives go into the small chapel on the grounds. Tell us a bit about the chapel itself.
Yes, well, the chapel, it's a very special building. Now, it was built in 1883. It's known as the oldest remaining building in Regina. It used to be a mess hall, actually, but there was a fire in 1895. The building was restored, and at that time, it was turned into a place of worship.
Regina has put on such a great show in getting ready for the games. A 3rd time in the province, 1st time in this city. What does it mean to the people of Regina?
Well, Scott, it could not come at a better time. It is the Saskatchewan Centennial this year, and this province has been preparing for these games for well over a year. There is excitement throughout the province, and no effort has been spared. Some talented Saskatchewan people. This is the most exciting spot to be in. The CN trains are honking the horns, waving at the stones. The snowbirds are flying overhead, waving at the stones. Costa, you should come down here, I'm telling you.
It sounds great, looks great, and all those people who were singing for us get to do it with Mick and the boys tonight. Sandra, thanks a lot. Have a great weekend.
Okay, Costa.
Looks like a lot of fun. Well, that's it for us tonight. We will see you tomorrow night at 5 o'clock and again at 11 for all of your local news. Have a great night.